Okay, here we go. This is the December astrology, all astrology. It's everything you want to know. It's the two main times. Well, I get all the dates in there, but there's two main times you really want to pay attention. But it's a very exciting month, and it's really big for manifesting. So stay tuned. We're gonna talk all about it. Okay, we've got December here, and I want to give you guys all the key elements that are going to help you be happy and successful, hopefully. Well, that depends on you. But okay, first we want to talk about, we're in the Sag now, the Sag energy, the Sag month. We'll be going into Capricorn, but right now we're Sag. It's all about beauty. We just got through, of course, as you know, Scorpio and the eclipses, and it was really kind of difficult. Even that Gemini moon, full moon, was a bit difficult. But now we've come into the Sagittarian energy, and there's a reason why Sagittarius is like grouped between Scorpio and Capricorn. I mean, they're pretty heavy hitters. So a lot of in astrology, what's before, precedes it, yeah, says a lot. And so you have one of the most hopeful signs, Sagittarius, that comes into play right now, and we really need it. So the one thing that is great is that people are going to be even more so into beauty this season, which is, sometimes there's some seasons where you just don't even feel like putting the lights up, or you just don't feel like it. This is a year that everybody needs it, wants it, would like to see some beauty. It doesn't even matter where people are financially, they would appreciate and really like to see the beautiful things in this world. So a lot more people will be decorating. I say go for it, and really, truly, like even just going to the dollar store right now, like they've got all the stuff out, and it's super inexpensive and fun. So go now and pick up some stuff to decorate, because it's really great. Okay, so let's get to Mercury steals the show. Mercury is super fast. But throughout the month, we've got a retrograde in there. It's jumping back and forth. And the retrograde isn't that big of a deal because that energy really is throughout, but there's a balance, and it's kind of good that we have the retrograde, and I'll explain why. Well, as we know, with Mercury is the mind, the intellect, okay? It likes to break down patterns and match things up. It's language and communication. It's exchange. It's established relationships and establishing relationships. It's how we interact, how we relate with each other. The exchange also has to do not only with people, but like money. That's why you have like mercantile or merchant, Mercury. Within the language. It's an exchange of information plus commerce. So we have a lot of that going on. And what is that going to look like for you? That's going to be really dependent upon you. So what you need to do is finding the balance with that along the way, with also the curiosity and the social aspect. All right, so the one thing with Mercury, there's a lot of influences with the Mars. We had the Mars Cazimi. I talked about that in extensively, especially towards the end of the video in the November astrology. Look it up. It was really interesting, cool. So also with Mars, Sagittarius, Capricorn, and retrograde. Also, Mercury has a little Cazimi going on, and that goes on. Cazimi is in the smaller. The planets, the closer planets, are like every 2 months. Mars was every 2 years, so it was a much bigger deal. But this one's still a big deal with how the light of the sun will cleanse Mercury and get your minds very clear in the moment of being clear, to think clearly. And we need that during retrograde. Okay, so one thing I want to discuss real quick is where we came from. Let's see. So, we came from November with Mars, Cassimi, the eclipses. And if you look back, let's try to explain real quick, if we can, how fast we can explain the Mars, Cassimi. The sun comes in conjunct, and it comes on top, conjuncts with Mars, and the sun goes psh, and makes all of the purges of the energy of all the past alliances, all the things. Mars is like the warrior planet, the passions, the warrior, all the things that it was convicted towards, and all the alliances and the people. Well, when it comes to an ending, when Mars comes to its full path and it comes back to the ending and realigning, come back with the sun again, that whole path, you know, you reevaluate who you want to be in alliance with. You don't have to be in alliance with them anymore. And so, like, you'll see a lot of breaking of alliances because everything's starting fresh, everything's starting new. The sun purifies things, it makes things very clear and purifies things. And people that you may have been aligned with, you're like, I don't really want to play in the same sandbox with you anymore. But so it purges, it breaks alliances. There's like targeted eliminations. You'll see like boardroom assassinations. We've seen that a lot of companies. I mean, recently, OpenAI fired their CEO and founder, Sam Altman. There was another thing that my friend and I were talking about with this Scientology group that was helping people that blow out of Scientology. And it was a really good group, and that was another thing, a big thing within their environment, their organization, where two of their founders, one got forced out and the other just didn't like the whole thing and just said, I'm out of here, and left. So like lots of people moving out of sandboxes. And it's not to say that people don't even necessarily don't believe in what they're doing anymore. Sometimes they just don't want to play together anymore. And so, depending upon how much money and how much power is involved, it's interesting to see how that separation is. But I'm sure you felt that even with some things with yourself, or friendships, or work, or whatever. You're like, you know what, I just don't want to do it anymore. Or I changed my mind. So that happens with the Mars Cazimi. Great, passionate, makes the Mars really hyper to start again and fresh. And so a lot of times these separations and these endings, these completions, they're overdue. You know, a lot of power plays can happen. The one thing I want to talk about too was the Gemini November 27th full moon. Hurt feelings. You know, the one thing about Gemini that a lot of people don't always know and appreciate is, boy, you know what? Geminis, when they get their feelings hurt, it's sad. You know, there's other signs that might react differently, like the stubbornness of Taurus or Aries can feel angry or frustrated more, but Gemini really can feel sad. And so I don't know if you guys got to experience that a little bit. If there was something within this last full moon that really, within some of your unions or what have you, because that's important to Gemini, and then feeling sad, get a taste of what it feels like for Gemini and your Gemini friends. It's quite touching. But I do want to say, with the alliances real quick, the one thing I want to say is a lot of times what happens in the breaking of alliances and the reestablishing, because really within this next month, we're going to be figuring out who we want our new alliances to be. And mid-January is when we really come into our decision making and the bonding really starts to happen. Okay, so all this time period that's going on right now during December is really important, okay, with these retrogrades, and this is why. With the alliances, a lot of times what we knew but we didn't want to face with some of them, with some of our relationships. We're not meant to be together, time to move on. Student moves past the teacher sometimes. You know, it doesn't always have to be like aggressive or bad. It's just different directions. Realizations, spotlight from, there's a spotlight from the moon. Some of the doors are closing, the doors opening. You know, the one thing we have to realize in life, and all through December, the one thing the energies are going to give you an opportunity to do is, you know, you watch what doors are opening naturally for you. What people, if you knock, say you go down the hallway and you knock on a door, and you see who opens the door and is happy to see you and embraces you, and it's flowing and it's effortless. Then sometimes you knock on a door and like no one's there. You don't know why that door isn't opening and nobody's responding. Who knows what's going on with them? They might be napping. They don't, like, I don't know. You don't want to assume anything. You really don't. But then there's the doors, like you knock on, they open and slam in your face, and you're like, oh my, okay. And what's key within this month is not to take it personal. It's just to realize, take note of it, and to realize that you guys aren't synergetic. You're either not on the same path, or they got something going on different than you. You may be slamming doors in other people's faces. Hopefully you don't do it like that, but it's really, really paying attention to our alliances. What's flowing easily and happy and is fun and playful like Sagittarius wants to be. What is a natural flow, and not try to convince somebody to play with you or work with you, or all of that. It's really, really important that we watch that, not overanalyze, but gently take that in and take it for what it is. Okay, it's making things real clear. Stop forcing what isn't flowing. And sometimes, too, one thing that we've got to remember is, even though we give of ourselves, and sometimes we give too much, make sure you don't give too much, even just in this holiday season, but in general. A lot of times, a lot of what this month is talking about is you can actually have pushback. It sucks, but sometimes when you give too much to people, they stop appreciating you, because there's actually an imbalance. You've got to be able to have a give and take. And if you give too much, sometimes there's pushback. Sometimes people resent you, actually, when you give too much. Then they can start taking advantage of you, not appreciate. It's just, and if you start falling into that, wow, after all I did for them, if you find yourself saying that, you're falling into the martyr. You're not paying attention to maybe the balance of how much you should have given. I mean, unless someone's in dire straits, right? But when it's just friends, family, basic, this and that, you really have to have the responsibility yourself of gauging proper levels of giving. Just consider it. Just consider it. Okay, so there's endings, death. He was talking about, sometimes when things end, even like mediums or people that, people that say or can talk to people on the other side after they've passed over and died, they always talk about the good times. They don't talk or linger on how the person died. So within these relationships that we're still alive and still here, we still don't need to linger on how the endings happened in relationships or alliances. You can still think about what we accomplished, what were the good times, what I learned, how I grew, how I appreciate that. It was good while it lasted. Don't linger on the slammed door or you're going in different directions. That's the way sometimes it's meant to go. And when time's up, time's up. So let's try to, if we can, I mean, it's an offering. If you want to look at the things that you benefited, everybody benefited from it. And sometimes, like that saying, if it's a relationship and that's that whole, he's just not that into you, and the red flags, pay attention to that. And don't keep trying to give to somebody that it's just a one-way street and they're not giving back. Once again, level of give and take. It really needs to be balanced. And it's not good for either side when it's really unbalanced. Okay, so looking on to see what it was from the past and who is a better fit, a natural better fit. Which doors are opening up. Just like going on to parties and everything. Really good time period this particular year to go to parties and just watch what is naturally happen when people are naturally stepping forward and giving you attention, or you them, or just, it's a good flow. Pay attention. It would be beneficial to you if you want to. It's just an offering. Anything I say here is just an offering. I'm not trying to tell you what to do. I just get excited sometimes. Okay, so I really want to iterate the Gemini full moon, November 27th, that we just had. The expressions, the hurt feelings, sense of self. A lot of that full moon had to do with identity, the who am I, and who am I in interaction with others. So some of us may have realized that there were certain things that hurt our feelings, and it went kind of deep and made us sad, and it was usually within a relationship with somebody else. And the great thing about Gemini is a lot of times they want to share or express. And it was hopefully you share or express with a close friend, and maybe not necessarily the person that you felt sad about, but I mean to them, but with the friend that you talk to them, and they say that if you can purge an expression, you have it. Half the problem halved when you help. A friend helps you. So you might have noticed that. Hi, Tinkerbell. You might have noticed that it was constructive and productive when you were expressing and connected with somebody else to talk about it. Anyway, just something to consider within Gemini and their sadness of what they feel like and that whole thing with the full moon. So now, I'm always checking over the sound to make sure it's still going. Okay, so can't play in the same sandbox anymore. Constructive way to express the energies. What's the offering? What are you doing, Tinkerbell? What did we learn? Okay, she's still playing with the lights. Come here, not playtime. Come on over. Come on, baby. You're so silly. Come on, slumber like everybody else. We've got all the heating blankets out. Everybody else is crashed out. Okay, so a lot of times we have within the signs and the planets and everything, we have them teaching each other, moderating each other, the planets coming into play, which is what we've got going on this month. So Mars is coming in and moving in through Sagittarius. So Mars just went through the Cazimi, which it got purged and cleared. The sun came in and cleared everything. So it's starting fresh and brand new, but now it's also in Sag. So it's got energy, it's passionate, it's hyped up. But the funny thing is we've got Saturn in the retrograde saying, not so fast, you're not going anywhere. You need to have, Capricorn comes in and says you need to have your blueprints, you need to have your plans. Like Mars is being kind of held at bay, even though it's so hyper and it's got all this energy. So a lot of people are feeling that pressure of wanting to move forward, but you're not going to really be able to. The only thing you're going to really get done this month is your must-haves, your have-to-dos. Let's see. Okay, so Saturn's in Pisces, so we have the Capricorn Sag retrograde energy all through the month. It's like it goes back and forth and back and forth constantly. This is not a bad thing. This is actually a really good retrograde because we not only have the sun that we're going through in Sagittarius that will eventually, in the winter solstice, get to Capricorn, right? We have the Sagittarius great rebirth of life. And then we have coming into Capricorn, because Sagittarius wants to give it meaning, and Capricorn gives the material, making it into, bringing it into the pentacles, bringing it into manifestation, into the physical. So it's like, like how you're going to do it. What's your plan? What's your blueprint? Capricorn's fantastic at that, because Capricorn's long term. That's even why, like in New Year's, we're always like our long term plans. And this year I'm going to do this, and this year I'm going to do that. That's when we've already fallen into Capricorn energy, and that's why. But with the Mercury and the retrograde, it literally starts the month in Capricorn, Sirius, and then it goes into Sag. It like retrogrades. It goes backwards, forth. It goes back. Ooh, you guys. And then hold on. Let me take care of my kitty real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, here we go. Let's move forward. So all the kitties are okay. We've got Romeo on the bed, Champion, and Tinkerbell. You can't see it, but Cappy's over there. That was one who was having like the nightmare and woke up, but it's just fine. So moving forward, talking about the Mars, here's what we've got going on with Mars right now. This is your want to move forward, get things done energy, okay? With your Mars, you want to, you feel like you're being held back because of the retrogrades in Saturn. So you're having this feeling of wanting freedom from or away from. So if people get pushed this month, they're going to react because they're feeling that pressure. And so if they feel that someone's constraining them or even like delaying them, they're going to kind of act out a bit if they don't have like control over themselves. But Mars is kind of like this. And don't worry, because Mars has got so much new energy and it's hyper and it's full of freedom because it was cleared from the sun, that it's going to move forward no matter what. It's gonna get there. It's got so much energy behind it. So don't worry. All these things that you're thinking about getting done, they're going to get done. It's just you're a bit delayed. And it was really funny because like Chris and Austin, they made an example of saying it's kind of like the Terminator or Jason. And I just laughed so hard when I heard that. It's like they keep being delayed, but they've got a mission and they're gonna get you. And yes, Mars is like that. And the what I wanted to think of also maybe another way to put it, which is so funny. And so Scorpio, those guys to put it that way, which is hysterical, and I loved it. But here's another way to look at it too. you know, like coaches and when you're athletes, you know, like when their coach makes you stand in place and you got to do the legs really fast and you can't move, and the coach says, okay, go left, okay, go right, go, and like you've got all this energy ready to go, but the coach is not letting you go yet until he says go. And that's what's going on with that's what's going on with Mars right now, with the delayed gratification. Sometimes people are going to feel frustrated and angered, but it's misplaced, and they just don't understand. You know, if they're feeling out of control, it's going to be misplaced. You're like, sometimes within retail, or let's not let people do bully stuff, or maybe going on planes and their flight is delayed with, you know, the retrogrades and stuff like that. You know, we need to show some grace and patience for each other, and nobody needs to be a bully. Okay, you're going to accomplish your goals when it's going to be on Saturn's time scale and the retrograde. So you can only get your have to get dones or must do's. Must get, you know, so make your list of, you know, the things like if you don't pay this particular bill, your lights are going to turn off. Your alliances aren't going to get worked out until mid-January, so be in watch mode. Be in observation mode during December, okay? Gently, naturally, calmly. Watch through it because it's a good time through Sagittarius. It's a good time. You can have it be a good time if you don't try to push things. Okay? Watch energies, go to parties, decorate, have fun with the beauty because it's good this year. I'm going to be decorating in just a little bit. I have all my decorations and I bought a few extras, and you'll see as I put them up. Okay, so Sag energy is extremely, just making sure my sound is there. Yes, extremely festive this year. I already said that. The one thing about you know, Sagittarius is the archer, and consider it this way. Just remember this. You know, like you have the bow and you're pulling it back. We were pulled back into Scorpio, and all the tension and all the that we had to go through a Scorpio, and then Sagittarius brings meaning. Hi, champion. Sagittarius brings meaning, and is supposed to aim. Is to aim towards what it wants to go for, and then release into Capricorn. So that's like the energy of Sag, and like, poof, right? So Sag gives the meaning and aim. So let's get back to, you know, also Sag has the other, you know, inspiration, in the spirit of Sagittarius. I mean, if you were to think of a card that is so Sagittarius, and you know how I love Sagittarius, is the Sun card. And I love the Sun card. Let me put this up here, see if you guys can see this. Yes, that's the Sun card. I mean, you have the child who's just come back to life from the card before. It had like tragedy and like death or completion. You come back to life. The red feather is up again. Death and the other previous card and everything is down. You know, you always see these rebirths after either death or the Tower card. We've got the sun. We've got the sunflowers actually facing towards the child. So that also says this is what it has even more light right now. Is the light is within you. It's just as we know, Sagittarius, its ruler is Jupiter. Come on. Jupiter and Sagittarius, man. It's just an incredible sign. And I'm not even Sagittarius, and I love it so much. Okay, so let's move forward. Back to the Mercury retrograde, all right? And we're dancing back and forth between Capricorn and Sag. With the effect of Mars's hyperness and wanting to move forward and power behind it. So we have that all month. So don't even get caught up in when retrogrades, I mean, I'll give you the dates real quick here, but when retrograde starts or ends or this or that, because really the energies are all month. I mean, you're just going to be going between Sag and Capricorn all month, but that's a good balance. It's a really good balance. We want to have that. Because sometimes Sagittarius, if it's unchecked by Saturn, unchecked by not being unchecked by Saturn or Capricorn or Virgo or something like that, it can be not always realistic and a little bit careless, a little too dreamy, and not have anything in place. So, overly hopeful. So let's look. We've got Sagittarius now, fire. We've got the meaning, the aim, the truth. Want to express it or experience. You may find this is big during this month, your calling. What is at your core of what you're passionate about? Passion is the Mars. But what is in your core, your child essence of like your identity and who you really are and who you want to be? That's big this month. Gives life, it's open, it can be non-committal. Sagittarians are very committal to when they finally pick somebody, but it's a good thing that they're flow and they're like non-committal. That's why they're so open and not as judgmental as some of the other signs. They're very open. That's what it means by non-committal. But once they do commit to someone in a relationship and decide, they will very much so compete. They're expansive. Okay, then we have Capricorn. Now remember, second half of the month, when we come into the winter solstice, around the 1st or the 22nd, that's when we move into Capricorn. And then we start to have, responsibility, the step up, the seriousness, the blueprints, the long-term goals, the how it gets done, being realistic, security, being put to the task. Right? That's what Capricorn gives. So it's a really nice balance. And because Mercury is starting in Capricorn and then going back to Sagittarius, then going back to Capricorn, like we've got the intermixing of those energies all month long. So that's what I'm saying. It doesn't really matter the retrograde. It's all month. All month. Okay. So watch relationships. No expectations. If you really want to have a good December, drop your expectations. It's a good one during the holidays. You're here to gather the information. Just gather. Okay, there'll be last minute cancellations. It's okay. Then, all you need to do is have grace and make sure you have extra time put into when you're going to get somewhere, that there could be delays, and have alternative plans. If someone or something cancels on you, you don't have to be all upset and everything. You're like, okay, my alternate plan was to go do this or go do that. You got to be free flowing this month. But still pay attention to who's really showing up and who's not showing up. Okay. With anything with retrogrades, you have reflection. You have a slow down period of checking details. And in January is when you're going to get really clear on things, and they're going to be moving forward, and it's going to be crystal clear in January. Although we're going to have a moment of clarity right in the middle, which you want to pay attention to. Okay. Oh, and if you do sign contracts and everything in December and you really commit to something, they're probably 6 months down the line, you're going to be like, what was I thinking? Because we're supposed to be observing more than anything. All right, so let's get into the dates. I'm sure everybody wants to know the dates. Like I said, we start with December 1st. Mercury is in Capricorn. It starts in Capricorn, but it's sextile Saturn. So because it's a very positive aspect, it's keeping things in check. Once the blueprint, you're going to make to-do lists. You're going to be strategic. You're going to be like, okay, this month I'm going to get this done early. I'm going to get that done. You're going to have the initial energies of that. All right, on December 4th, we've got Venus enters Scorpio. And this is a really fast one. It really zips through. Venus is not staying that long in Scorpio. It just came out of Libra, which is its home and the most comfortable, most kind of loving atmosphere. It's going into Scorpio. So that means that if you have any stalkers, you're going to have to pay attention and be wary. I'm kidding. But not really if you know the depths of Scorpio. Scorpio is all or nothing. Scorpio is, they either, and they can have such a secret crush on you, but they really want to have all of you and like know you and become one with you, or have nothing, do nothing, want to kill you, or just not have any of that type of energy of romance or anything at all. Like it's all or nothing. But Scorpio's intense. And can anybody say fetish sometimes with Scorpios? They're spicy. They are definitely spicy, that's for sure. And you're not going to be bored with them. And boy, do they, when they have attractions, they know what they like and what they want. So they're intense. They're intense with everything. But anyway, so Venus enters Scorpio, and it's really quick through it. By the end of the month, it's already into its next sign. So intensity, if you want to have a little spiciness, in the thing that it's going to say is Scorpio knows who it's really aligned with, because otherwise it can be paranoid sometimes about other people and other things and not fitting with them. So they know who their true lovers are. They know who their truest friends are. They're very clear on that. So it'll mean that you will want to be with the ones that you know you really love and they really love you. There's no question. So within your Venus, that's the way that's going to go down with that sort of your love energy. Okay, December 6th, Neptune, direct Pisces, makes you question reality, new identity. Well, we're going through that a lot right now. Who am I? How do I really fit in here? What is my identity? That's December 6th. Then we go into the new moon. Okay, this is one of the dates. This is a really good, December 12th, the new moon. New moon Sagittarius. So this is positive because Mercury trines Jupiter at this point, trining Jupiter. And Mercury trines 3 times, which is a really positive thing through the month. And of course, Mercury is having a really positive ride through December. It's funny because even though it's in slow motion and kind of kept still with the retrograde, it's kind of like all over the place. It's got the energy going on when normally just zip and zip, right? So it's fascinating. But really keep an eye on your mind in observing this month. The one thing with the new moon, December 12th, new moon in Sagittarius, keep this date in mind because 6 months from now is when that comes into the full moon of Sagittarius and comes to its completion. And 6 months from now, that Sagittarius full moon is absolutely outstanding. And sometimes you can look at what happens with the completion to see how much success you're going to have within that time period with whatever you initiate within this new moon. This is a big manifester, big manifesting moon. So 6 months from now, it's larger than life, super positive. Dream big, set your intentions. Like some people set their intentions for the first of the year, New Year's Eve or whatever. No, look now, but dreamy. What we want to do with this with Sagittarius, allow yourself to dream. Allow yourself to, the card on that one that I love, and this is, a lot of times with this card, we have where this person is looking up into these dreamy cups of emotional things that it would like to have. Some things scare us and some things we really want. We're dreaming about it. But that's the first stage of anything big. Dream big. Right now, we're in this new moon in Sagittarius. We want to dream big. No limitations on this. Really allow yourself to open up. Really open up on this new moon, December 12th. You want to make lists too. You want to connect to nature, play, childlike curiosity, deep to the truth of your core, your inspired child, your true inspiration of who you want to be, what you want to be. And if you weren't held back and you could be anything, you could dream big. What does that look like? It's really big on manifesting your dreams. You want to set your intention. Yeah, it's kind of blind optimism, but it's really important with this energetic. I'll tell you why. Because then when we come into the winter solstices, right after this, it was when you bring it into having your foundation. Okay? But one thing I want to say is within your December new moon, it's a fresh start. Okay? So, some of the questions you might want to ask yourself within this, your list, and really truly ask yourself these questions because this is where you're setting your intentions. I'll give you an example of some within the energetics of what's going on and the themes of everything. Some of the questions might be, now with this, you can either say I or we. Depends upon your goals of how you're seeing it, okay? But what are the 3 things I'm most passionate about? Remember what Mars is doing right now. What are the 3 things I'm most passionate about? What is my role or identity within them? How do I want to be known? within them, like your title or your legacy. How do you work with those? What are your goals? What are my goals? Who are my proven alliances? Name your top 10. Have you ever done that? Have you ever gone through your phone, put symbols next to people? Really, really know who's really, really there, like consistently there, truly there for you. Not a, what is that called, a friend that's kind of more of an enemy? They're more like a kind of envious or not truly a supporter, although they might act like it. No, we don't want them. We want to, who's truly there, truly supporting, fun to play with, flows, effortless, exciting, fun. You don't have to hold back. Who are those people? So who can I partner with or work with more with them within the new year, within these new things? Back to, what are the 3 things I'm most passionate about? Okay? That's something that just to help within this new moon to consider, even you're doing it right now, but consider what those would be, because the new moon trines the North Node in Aries, which is also part of Mars, which is passionate, moving forward, new Aries, new beginnings, the first, right? It's all synergetic right now, very synergetic. And 6 months from now, score. Well, it's the whole process. Okay, so let's see. It's the whole thing. Where we go in evolutionary alignment, sextiles, South Node reflects the past. It's all good. Let's move on. Okay, so then we move into December 21st. That's also then straddles December 22nd. Oh, I forgot. Tell you real quick, December 13th, right after the new moon, is December 12th. December 13th, yes, Mercury is in Capricorn and goes retrograde. It's in Capricorn, remember the Sirius, I told you, even though we're all Sagittarius right now. It's in Capricorn, starts to move backwards, gives a pause. I'm telling you, the Mercury retrograde stuff is all month long, so just consider that. Truly, within how all the planets are going. So you're supposed to pause and really reflect, observe, get all the information you need to get, and keep calm. Keep calm. All right, so going on to December 21st through like December 22nd. These 2 dates was when you have, that's when in the middle of the month or going towards the end, December 21st, we move into Capricorn season. Okay, Capricorn season begins, and this is the winter solstice. So Sagittarius, which brings meaning, goes into giving form, which is Capricorn. You see where we're going with this? You see why the energies go the way they do, and even why the seasons normally go the way they feel, why people react in their goals, and how it is from Sag to Capricorn. It's fascinating, isn't it? Okay, so the one thing that's really great is on, that's the winter solstice starts on December 22nd, first, but December 22nd, the very next day, we also have Mercury gets conjunct together with the sun, which blows out, purges all the negative energy, makes you very clear. Mercury is the mind in our communications. So during that, we're going to have levels of ahas. It's going to be a great time from, you made your list and everything in your new moon on December 12th. When you get to your solstice, is like, okay, so that was my passionate, what do I want to be, my identity debt. And then on the the solstice, then you come into Capricorn, and how do I make what's the plan? What's the blueprint? Okay, and you've got a very clear mind. So at this point, you can be way up in the clouds with the Sagittarius and thinking big and dreaming big. And then when you have a really clear mind, when Mercury conjuncts the sun, that's the best time to then it'll bring in, Capricorn will bring in what's realistic. What of all those things is really synergizing, is really truly coming together. So if you prepare yourself with the dreaming and then you get to the concrete foundation of Capricorn, it's a good combination. Do the work. It's not hard work. Just get a piece of paper out and get clear for yourself. And if you do this and you set your intention 6 months from now, it's really good news. Okay, just putting it out there if you feel like it. It clarifies. It gives you the aha moment. Okay, so now December 26th, We have full moon Cancer. That's the next date. This is an emotional. Oh, but you know, we have support from Jupiter and Saturn. They're both positive, right? They're both very positive within this combination. So even though Neptune is squaring it gives it a little bit of that. It's very supportive. So if you release expectations, we have the Jupiter and Saturn sextile Cancer, which is very positive, and you'll get the best of Cancer. You'll get the best of the loving, mothering, in the best sense way, family, the softness. When Cancer's very protective and everything, but if you're with the people that you really want to be with, and your Venus is in your Scorpio, and you're really paying attention to that, and you're with those people, it's going to be very lovey-dovey, and I see, you know, the fire going and the prettiness, and it can be really quite lovely with this Cancer full moon. Okay, so let's go to next date. Let's go to December 29th. Venus enters Sagittarius. So really, yep, that's when Venus then goes into Sagittarius, and you know the energy. You go from, then you'll be more open, more free-flowing, not as paranoid. You'll be able to give your love to lots, be open to lots of people. So as soon as the 29th hits, and this is great because this is right before New Year's. So New Year's is going to open you up. Your Venus and your love and your heart is going to open up to more people right during that time period. It's funny because the New Year's, actually what's going on with the planets this New Year's actually fits the normal themes of New Year's, which doesn't always coincide with what it's saying it is. But this year it does, because then on December 30th, Jupiter goes direct in Taurus. It was in retrograde in Taurus. Now it's going direct in Taurus. So move forward. We've got, you know, the beginnings. And New Year's Eve, December 31st, we have a trine. We have the moon in Virgo, the sun in Capricorn, and Jupiter in Taurus. So turning over a new leaf. That's exactly what we do on, you know, like the New Year's Eve and everything. So we're open to people. We want to go direct with our motivations, even financially, the stuff that we want to do, and our feeling secure and everything in Taurus. We've got the trine, turning over a new leaf. And then also right on January 1st, Mercury goes direct. All right, right? Like, it's like, this is great. This is, you know, everything starts, I mean, it's really right in that period between the December 29th, 30th, and then January 1st, or 31st, and then the 1st. All of those really correspond with that whole coming into the new year. It's normally not a new year thing, but this is the new you, the new everything. Here we go. We're kind of birthing into it, and open and celebratory, and all the energies of actually what New Year's Eve should be. So, good time. I'd celebrate it this year. Be careful out there, though. We're almost done here. Okay, so this is now the watch out fors, and it looks like I'm still recording, so we'll keep going. Watch out for, you know what, I'm going to pause it and come right back. Okay, here we go. I just started it back up again right away. Sometimes my computer, I know it'll run out of space for the temporary file, so I just want to make sure we're all moving forward. Here's the watch out for list. This is the stuff which, like, during December, the watch out for the second half of the month, Mercury, when it goes retrograde and it back into Sagittarius, can be a little careless. So when we've got Mars, when Mercury is also conjoined with Mars, when that's communications, it's both in Sagittarius and Mars that really wants to move forward. And Mars doesn't want to be held back, and it wants to express itself. It's got to move. It's, you know, and sometimes it's going to want to do things and pick up the pieces later. You know, Mars could be a little careless. So be gracious and watch out for yourself if you're just kind of trying to force things forward. We don't want to do that. Sometimes your decisions can be uncareful and reckless. Just pay attention. I know you want to push things forward, but don't. Okay, So also, if that's going to happen with other people, got to be careful, because it's going to be like one of those movies, like some of those movies where someone can't tell a lie, and their truth is their truth. It doesn't mean necessarily that it's true, but it's their truth, and they're going to be spouting out. So if someone gets pushed in a corner, ooh, be careful. There's two types. There's being pushed, backed into a corner. They're going to be triggered. Okay. So Mars is wanting its freedom. It doesn't have its freedom yet. So if someone's going to be pushing on them, it's going to freedom, and it has no alliances right now. So it's like it's highly energized from Sagittarius. It has no alliances. It just went through the Kazemi, and it wants its freedom. And so if you trigger people right now and you push them into the corner, or people push you into the corner, like, even though it's had this wonderful Sag energy, if you're being pushed right now, it could be like kind of bipolar energy, and all of a sudden, and then just. So be careful of that. Don't talk politics with people. If you start seeing them really being pushed, like, back off and breathe if you see it with yourself, or get out of that company, or do what you need to do if you see yourself start to be triggered this month, because that's the energy behind it, right? Mars isn't going to want it. It's too hyper. It's too hyper right now. So, and because it's so clean, it has no alliances. It's going to tell the truth. People might say things they really wish they wouldn't have said. Also, too, there's the ones where people are trying to trick you into a fight, right? You have sometimes the passive aggressive, and someone's just going through something in their mind and everything, and they just want to make you the enemy, or make this, or they want to see you a certain way, and so they try to be passive aggressive and lead you into a conversation via text or phone or whatever. You don't have to participate. Remember that. I mean, sometimes too, when people text you and it's just absolute BS, you just, like, you don't necessarily even have to answer, kind of. You know what I'm saying? Like, really? This is what you're going to deliver? I don't need to participate in that. You know, I mean, just think about it. There's lots of different ways to handle a situation. Obviously, ignoring someone is probably not the best idea. But, I'm not here to give the best ideas all the time. I'm just, more of the facts. More of the facts. Here we go. Okay. So, people lacking restraint, saying the things they wish they wouldn't have. Don't push people. Don't talk politics. Don't push people's buttons. If you don't agree with someone, so what? So what? Someone doesn't agree with you. You don't agree with. So what? Get over it. Don't have to make your point. It's, really let it go. I mean, sometimes just let someone be whatever they're doing, and as long as they're not bullying or hurting somebody else. It's like, Uncle George or whatever, whoever is, they're doing their thing as they always do. Also, that's something to be, if you get crazy on someone that's only doing what they've always ever done, then that's your bad. It's like, do you understand? Okay. But of course, defend people from bullies. Yeah. But let's see. Sometimes saying, I'm not having this conversation. I'm not having this conversation. And we move on to something else. Sometimes that, you think about how you might go about it. Anyway, release of expectations. If people see you in a certain way, true or not, just observe. Just observe. They see you that way. And you don't even have to convince them otherwise. Just observe. This is all gathering information during December. Wanting to move forward, be patient, give more time, alternative plans, sandbox. Some people will want to play or not play. You really should be effortless, but do go to the parties this year. It's going to be so much vital information to figure out your alliances and everything, and just observe and watch and flow. Pluto, 29 degrees Capricorn, can't ignore when things are not working. The wielding of power. If someone is just edgy and wielding of power and you just can't take it anymore, there's going to be a little bit of that energy. So those are the watch out fors. But you get the gist of it. All right, so these are last go through. We're almost done here. If you're frustrated during this month at any time, remember, you are not your thoughts. I don't know if you could hear that, but Capricorn just let out a little squeal of some sorts. during his sleep. Anyway, you are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. Okay? These are tools. Your thoughts and your emotions are tools. They're showing you stuff. You're an instrument. That's part of it. Your mind and your feelings and emotions, and you're trying to work with all of them together and take the chariot and, move forward as you can. The chariot and the tarot cards best you can. So use these tools and observe them. Take a breath and then make a choice. If you feel like it. Anger and resentment will kill you. Cancer a lot of times comes from pent-up anger. Let's not die. Thoughts with strong feelings become beliefs. That's so true. Your thoughts with the strong emotions behind them make your beliefs. So whether it's negative or positive, they're going to become your new belief systems. And right now we're going into a lot of purging and like the star card and the tarot card and new identities. And so watch your thoughts and your emotions. It's gonna make you decide and believe certain things. It's the way it works. Okay, what's your intention with your verbal communications? When you start talking with somebody and you start feeling good or you start feeling, you ever ask yourself, what's your intention to be talking with this person? What do you want to gain? And if you're approaching them a certain way or they're approaching you a certain way, you really only control looking at how you approach or respond. But are you gaining? What's your intention? Don't be derailed. Just might want to consider that. Don't overgive. Unbalanced relationships. Even though you have good intentions, don't overgive. This planet is a planet built to grow, so it's never perfect. It's completely ongoing. Show up to Christmas party. Welcome doors. Watch for those. Welcome doors opening for you. Don't be with people that trigger you, or be aware of your triggers. Yeah, good luck with that. Especially once you're right in the middle of a trigger, like, ooh. But try. I mean, if you can try to be with people that don't trigger you, you can try. If there's certain family gatherings or certain things, usually people have someone in their family. See what you can do with that. Okay, focus on the beauty. Oh, we're really great. Beautiful things. It's so lovely. Little positive things. Meditate. And nature. Just, like walking through the leaves, listening to the way the leaves sound, colors, lights, pretty things, the fireplace. Refocus your energies. What are you going to be passionate and pay attention to? I mean, it's really great. We've got the Sagittarius Sun energy, which is utterly fantastic, and just the light. Be the fool, as in working with the universe, going forward. Not foolish, just the fool when it works with the universe is the most powerful. Nothing goes wrong when you're just flowing with the universe. The star is the identity, purging new identities. So December 12th, make sure that you dare to dream, you dreamy, really get into those core questions that we were talking about earlier on. Ask yourself those questions. You do it on the December 12th. Go into the high priestess, your intuition, energies, that and the hermit, the meditative, Two of Swords, really going into your mind calmly, organizing that way. Of course, people go on small trips. Anywhere endings and things to be sad with. I mean, it's not even really necessary this month, because we are looking to the people, the Three of Pentacles, of who we're going to align ourselves with, alliances, so we can create together. It's fun to create together. It's fun. It's magical to create together. The moon energy is going to be there all the time. These retrogrades going back and forth, things going into slow motion. It's kind of can feel dreamy at times, and so you can really observe what's going on. Ten of Pentacles. Your Capricorn, the long term. Your long term goals, your lineage, your who you consider family, what you want to build. We're going into the Five of Swords. We don't want to fight. We don't need to fight and argue. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So don't let your Mars get triggered. Don't let your Mars get pushed into a corner, because it really wants to move forward. It's really energized. right now. So just respect that, and then go to your parties, celebrate. Three of Cups, emotions, celebrate, be supported. And if someone is weird or is not supporting, don't think too much of it. Really, really pay attention to who is supporting. Where are the open doors? Where's everything flowing? But that is everything that I gathered for you. And I hope that it works out well for you. Thank you so much for sticking around. Look into the tarot readings coming up. We'll be doing some decorating. Make sure you watch your sun, moon, and rising sign. If you want a very direct personal reading, you go to my website and you can contact me, schedule with me there. I'm going to put up some new special things, super low for the first time, your first reading, first time readers. I just want to make that available for people. I want to be able to connect, because during this time period I'll be able to do that. In the future I won't be able to so much. So anyway, I wish you all the best. I'm going to get to these tarot readings now, and have a good one. Mush mush.